Welcome to the busiest mall in Delaware, the Christiana Mall, located in the unincorporated community of Christiana, located between Wilmington and Newark, Delaware. Planning of the mall began in the 1970s by the Rubin Company and Newcastle Associates to be constructed on 97.4 acres of land of what was originally farmland that contained 4 family farms. The name of the mall and the area that it resides in was named after the Christina River. The name of the river originated from Queen Christina of Sweden. Due to variations of the name in various languages, the area's name would end up becoming Christiana instead of Christina. The site was picked after Interstate 95 had opened crossing through Christiana in November of 1968, and a highway interchange was constructed next to where the site of the mall would be. The Philadelphia-based Strawbridge and Clothier department store would be the first of 3 original anchors to open at the mall, opening in September of 1978. Phase 1 of the mall held its grand opening on October 12th of 1978. It stretched from Strawbridge's at one end to the center court of the mall. Phase 2 of the mall would occur throughout 1979, with Bamberger's opening a location in the center court and continuing through 1980 with a new wing including a JCPenney. JCPenney would have their grand opening on May 7th of 1980, and the wing it was in was constructed opposing to the Strawbridges. Christiana Cinemas, the Cupboard Food Court, and Galaxy Arcade would all open in the new expansion wing of the mall. Additional tenants in this wing would include McMahon Books, KB Toys, Duke's Pub, Almighty Tacos, CVS Pharmacy, The Gap, Chess King, Christiana Liquors, Size 579 Shops, and Doctor's Pet Center. The mall would compete with 2 already established nearby malls, being the Triangle Mall, later renamed the Castle Square Mall in Newcastle, and the Castle Mall in Newark. Christiana Mall, as you can see today, has become the clear winner of the area and was much larger than either of them ever were. Today, both malls have long since closed, with the Triangle Mall sitting repurposed as offices and the Castle Mall demolished for a strip mall. Throughout the 1980s, the mall would also gain tenants such as Wicks & Sticks, Foley Jewelers, Lane Bryant, Anderson Little, Radio Shack, and Casual Corner. Bamberger's in 1986 would rebrand all of its locations to Macy's, including the location at the Christiana Mall. An expansion was announced for the mall in 1988. This expansion would add 28 additional store spaces along with a new anchor. The new anchor tenant would be a 2-story, originally Philadelphia-based John Wanamaker's. This would result in the first instance of both major Philadelphia department stores, Strawbridge's and Wanamaker's, operating out of the same mall at the same time. Wanamaker's would open with the expansion to the mall in August of 1991. This would end up being the final Wanamaker's location to ever be constructed. The store would be rebranded after the parent company of them at the time, Woodward and Lothrop, or Woody's, entered bankruptcy and was purchased by the May department stores chain and J.C. Penney. The store was rebranded to a Hex on September 3rd of 1995. The store would last even shorter as a Hex, as it would be rebranded again to a Lord & Taylor, a luxury department store that was also at the time owned by the May Company, on March 5th of 1997. That same year, Reuben Company, whom had owned the mall and developed the mall, had merged with the Pennsylvania Realty Investment Trust, or more commonly known as PRIET, which had included 24 shopping centers owned by Reuben, with the deal estimated to be worth $260 million. In 2003, PRIET would exchange 50% of the Christiana Mall's ownership and $225 million in cash to the Rouse Company for 6 malls, along with $285 million in mortgage debt from Rouse. The malls PRIET would acquire from this deal would be the Cherry Hill Mall, the Moorestown Mall, the Plymouth Meeting Mall, the Galleria at Market East, the Exton Square Mall, and the Echelon Mall. 1 year later, in 2004, Rouse would be acquired by General Growth Properties, or more commonly known as GGP, putting the Christiana Mall into GGP's ownership and management. In 2005, May Department Stores and Federated Department Stores merged for an $11 billion deal. This resulted in 3 of the 4 anchors at Christiana Mall being all under the same ownership. In 2006, Federated had made the decision to rebrand 16 department store names, many of which had already had numerous names merged into them, into Macy's. Lord & Taylor and Bloomingdale's would be the 2 exceptions to this. Lord & Taylor would be sold to NRDC Equity Partners for $1.2 billion rather than being rebranded to Macy's. Contracting of this sale would begin in June of 2006 and completed in October. Before this deal went through, however, in June of 2006, Federated had already shut down both the Lord & Taylor and Strawbridge's locations at the Christiana Mall, rather than opting to keep a 2-location Macy's. In 2008, a proposal was made to reuse the Lord & Taylor building as the Epicenter Collection. This was going to be a catalog center of sorts for online retailers. However, plans for this ended up getting scrapped. Over the next few years, many changes would occur at the mall. The Lord & Taylor building would be sold to the Target Corporation in December of 2008, whom would demolish this space and construct a Target store there, opening on October 10th of 2010. In 2009, a major renovation was announced for the mall. The original section of the mall and the expansion part of the mall both had never received any renovations up to this point. It's really a shame they did this renovation. I would have at least understood it, although still not liked it, if it was just done to the original section of the mall, which had looked very dated due to how old it was. However, the 1991 expansion area of the mall had no need for a renovation. It was not falling apart, it was not outdated looking, and it was just so beautiful looking with all the palm trees and fountains. At least the mall still looks decent, unlike with most Simon renovations from this time period. The one thing that I do really like that they still have at the mall are the banners with the mall's logo. For some reason, almost no malls do this anymore, but I think it makes malls look so much nicer when they do this. The mall's food court and original movie theater were demolished in 2009 for a much larger food court along with a giant 2-story Barnes & Noble, which somewhat operates as an anchor. The vacant Strawbridges would end up being demolished, with the wing of that area having an expansion and having a Nordstrom as an anchor store opening on April 8th of 2011. The only other changes at the mall that would occur after 2011 would be the construction of a Cabela's, a giant hunting-oriented outdoor store opening in the mall's parking lot on May 1st of 2014, and a 14-screen Cinemark theater opening in the mall's parking lot on November 20th of 2014. The ownership of the mall would also change from GGP to Brookfield in August of 2018 after Brookfield had bought out GGP. This brings us up to where the mall is today, thriving and at almost full occupancy, showing absolutely no signs of decline. There are many people out there who think all malls are dying, but this is one to prove all of those misinformed people wrong. There are still many malls, like the Christiana Mall, that still continue to do well and thrive, and show no signs of going anywhere anytime in the future. While it is true that some malls are not doing well, there still are ones that do well. When under good ownership and in a good location, when there's not too much competition nearby, they can still continue to do well and draw in hundreds if not thousands of people a day. Thank you all for watching. If you have not seen my other videos, such as on the Concord Mall in Wilmington, Delaware, my most recent video before this one, please make sure to check them out and stay tuned for more mall videos in the future.